the secret fleet unleashed. In the quiet vastness of space, the Galactic Council convened to discuss matters of the utmost importance. Representatives from countless species gathered in a grand chamber, each bringing their own unique perspectives and concerns. Unbeknownst to them, Earth had been preparing for a moment like this for years. Hidden in the shadows, Earth's secret fleet awaited the signal to reveal its existence to the galaxy. The Thean attack had been swift and merciless. Earth's frontier fleet, the first line of defense, was obliterated in moments, leaving billions of humans in peril. On the bridge of the flagship, Commander Cross watched in horror as the massacre unfolded light years away. The loss was unbearable, but he knew this was not the end. Humanity had one last card to play, a hidden fleet equipped with experimental warp drives and advanced weaponry. "Activate the warp drives," Cross ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos around him. The bridge crews sprang into action, their movements precise and efficient. They had trained for this moment, and now it was time to execute their plan. The fleet's warp drives hummed to life, bending space and time around them. In an instant, they were transported to the heart of Thean territory. The sleek hulls of the Terran ships gleamed darkly against the backdrop of stars. As they emerged from warp space, they opened fire, electronic chaos erupting to jam Thean communications. The insectoid invaders were caught off guard, their usual swift and deadly strikes rendered ineffective by the unexpected assault. "Take out their fighters before they know what's happening," Cross commanded, his voice cold and determined. In her fighter cockpit, Lieutenant Lara Jensen felt the tension in the air. Her hands danced over the controls, readying her squadron's weapons. "Nova Squadron, weapons ready. We're taking out their command ships," she ordered over the comm. Below, human colonists watched in awe as streaks of light signaled their savior's arrival. Whispers of hope grew into shouts of triumph as the Thean ships exploded one by one. Maya, a skilled pilot, led her squadron with deadly grace. Weaving between enemy ships, she targeted a Thean destroyer's thrusters. "Fire," she commanded, and missiles streamed from her fighter, blossoming into explosions that tore through the enemy vessel. Cross watched with grim satisfaction as each blast etched new lines in human history. This was the beginning of a story of defiance, a tale of humanity refusing to be subdued. In the Galactic Council chamber, shockwaves rippled through the gathered representatives. This was not the quiet, compliant humanity they had known. This was a species wielding power with ruthless efficiency, demanding to be recognized. The council members whispered nervously, their fear and grudging respect palpable. As Earth's counterattacks severed the Thean advance, the chances for human survival brightened. The council fell silent as Earth's admirals stepped forward. Her face was stern, ready for a fight. "Earth wants a seat here. We had to defend ourselves. The Theans forced our hand," she declared. Debate erupted among the council members. Fear of Earth's newfound power clashed with the fear of a common enemy. No decision was reached, but the admiral's words hung in the air, a challenge to the status quo. Earth had made its move, and the galaxy would never be the same. Cross knew this was just the beginning. The battle for humanity's place in the galaxy had started, and it would take more than advanced technology to secure it. It would take nerve, grit, and the will to stand tall against the galaxy's terrors. As the fleet regrouped and prepared for the next phase, Cross felt a sense of determination solidify within him. They had shown the galaxy what humanity was capable of, and now they had to keep fighting to ensure their survival. Alliances and betrayals. On the icy trade station orbiting Della 4, Cross disembarked from his transport, leaving the politics of the Galactic Council behind. The station was a bustling hub of activity, filled with traders and travelers from across the galaxy. Cross blended into the crowd, his demeanor disciplined and focused. Today, he wore no uniform, just simple clothes that allowed him to move unnoticed. Among the throngs of beings, a crystalline Hera named Tal Rex stood out. Despite trying to appear inconspicuous, Tal's form refracted light, casting rainbows on the station's metallic walls. Hera rarely left their home planets, but the Thean raids had pushed Tal to defy his people's isolationist policies. Trip uneventful, Tal's voice hummed, the sound resonating oddly in Cross's bones. "Yes," Cross replied quietly. "Let's get to it." Tal led Cross to a secluded alcove off the main corridor, where they could speak without fear of being overheard. Tal extended a limb from his torso, offering a data chip. "Shield tech you need." Cross took the chip, feeling the cool, hard surface. "Big risk helping us." "Your raids against the Theans spoke louder than council resolutions. My people may suffer for my betrayal, but if the Theans win, we all suffer." Cross nodded, pocketing the chip. "Your help won't be in vain." A station announcement called for the last boarding. Cross checked his communicator. Time was short. He needed to get the chip to Earth's engineers as soon as possible. "We'll remember your courage," he said. Tal shimmered slightly, the closest Ahira came to smiling. They parted ways, Tal disappearing into the crowd as Cross headed for his docking bay. Settling into his seat, Cross felt a new charge in the conflict. The Thians would return, fiercer and more desperate than before, but with Tal's gift, Earth would be ready. As the ship jolted into warp space, Cross leaned back, eyes closed. He imagined Earth's fleet now shielded, an impenetrable wall against the darkness. The battle for humanity's place had just begun, and it would take more than technology to secure it. It would take nerve, grit, and the will to stand tall against the galaxy's terrors. Cross knew there were whispers of a traitor within their ranks, rumors that had grown from rustling leaves into a tempest. But he pushed those thoughts aside. For now, the focus was on preparing for the next wave of Thean attacks. With new alliances and advanced technology, humanity had a fighting chance. The return of the Theans. As Earth's secret fleet returned to its hidden base, the engineers got to work integrating the new shield technology. Cross monitored the progress closely, knowing that time was of the essence. The Thians would not stay down for long. Reports had already come in of their forces regrouping, preparing for another assault. The engineers worked tirelessly, their hands moving with practiced precision. Cross walked among them, offering words of encouragement and checking on the progress. The new shields would make a significant difference, but they needed to be ready before the Theans struck again. In the Galactic Council chamber, debates continued. Earth's demand for a seat on the Council had thrown the usual order into disarray. Some members were in favor of granting Earth a place, recognizing the strength and resilience of the human species. Others were vehemently opposed, fearing the implications of Earth's newfound power. Back on Earth, the mood was tense but hopeful. The news of the successful counterattack had spread quickly, and for the first time in a long while, people felt a glimmer of hope. Families who had lost loved ones in the initial Thean assault found solace in the knowledge that humanity was fighting back with everything they had. In the quiet moments between battles, Cross reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. From the first contact with alien species to the devastating Thean attack, humanity had been tested in ways they had never imagined. But through it all, they had shown a resilience and determination that set them apart. As the fleet prepared for the next phase of the conflict, Cross knew that the real test was yet to come. The Thians would return, stronger and more determined than ever. But with new alliances, advanced technology, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The battle for Dela 4. The Thean fleet arrived at Dela 4 with a vengeance. They had learned from their previous defeat and came prepared for a brutal confrontation. Cross stood on the bridge, watching the enemy ships approach on the main display. The new shields were operational, but this would be their first real test. "All hands, battle stations," Cross ordered, his voice echoing through the ship. The crew moved with precision, readying their weapons and reinforcing their defenses. The calm before the storm was palpable, a tense silence hanging in the air. The Thian ships opened fire, their weapons clashing against Earth's new shields. For a moment, the fleet held its breath, waiting to see if the technology would hold. When the shields absorbed the impact and remained intact, a cheer went up among the crew. "Return fire," Cross commanded. The Terran ships responded with a barrage of laser and missile fire, cutting through the Thean ranks. The battle was fierce and relentless, with both sides taking heavy losses. But Earth held the upper hand, their new shields proving to be a game-changer. On the ground, human colonists took up arms, prepared to defend their homes. The sight of the fleet's new prowess filled them with renewed determination. They fought with everything they had, knowing that the future of humanity depended on their success. And her fighter, Maya, led a daring assault on the Thean command ship. Weaving through enemy fire, she targeted the ship's bridge, determined to cut off the head of the snake. "This is for Earth," she shouted, releasing a volley of missiles that struck the command ship with devastating force. The Thean fleet began to falter, their ranks breaking under the relentless assault. Cross watched as the tide of battle turned in humanity's favor. This was their moment, a chance to secure a future free from the threat of annihilation. A new dawn. With the Thean fleet in retreat, the Galactic Council reconvened. The representatives were abuzz with the news of Earth's victory. The debate over Earth's place on the Council reached a fever pitch, with some arguing that humanity had earned its seat through sheer determination and ingenuity. The Admiral stood before the Council once more, her presence commanding respect. "Earth has proven its worth. We seek not to dominate, but to stand as equals. Together, we can ensure peace and stability in the galaxy." The Council members exchanged glances, the weight of the decision heavy on their shoulders. Finally, the head Yolandi spoke. "Earth shall have its seat on the Council. Let this be the beginning of a new era of cooperation." Cheers erupted from the Terran representatives. Cross felt a surge of pride as the decision was announced. This was the culmination of years of hard work and sacrifice. Humanity had secured its place in the galaxy, and now it was time to build a future filled with hope and possibility. The price of victory, the legacy of heroes, years passed, and the story of humanity's defiance became legend. Children grew up hearing tales of the secret fleet and the brave soldiers who had fought to protect their home. The names of Cross, Maya, and Lyra became synonymous with courage and resilience. The Galactic Council, now with Earth's representatives among them, worked towards a future of peace and cooperation. The Thean threat remained, but with the combined strength of the Council members, they were kept at bay. Cross, now an elder statesman, looked back on the years with a mixture of pride and sorrow. The sacrifices made by so many had secured a future for humanity, but the price had been steep. As he stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the stars pass by, he knew that the story was far from over. The battle for humanity's place in the galaxy had been won, but the fight for peace and stability continued. With each new generation, the legacy of those who had fought and died would live on, inspiring new heroes to rise and face the challenges ahead. The journey had been long and arduous, but through it all, humanity had shown that they were capable of greatness. They had stood tall against the terrors of the galaxy, and now they looked to the future with hope and determination. The celebrations on Earth were tempered by the memories of those lost in the conflict. Families gathered to remember their loved ones, honoring their sacrifices. The battle for Delar 4 had been won, but the cost had been high. Cross walked through the streets of his hometown, the weight of his responsibilities heavy on his shoulders. He had led his people through the darkest of times, but the journey was far from over. The Thean threat had been pushed back, but it was not eliminated. There would be more challenges ahead, more battles to fight. In the Galactic Council chamber, Earth's representatives worked tirelessly to build alliances and strengthen their position. The Council had recognized humanity's strength, but now it was up to them to prove their worth as equal partners in the galaxy's future. As the days turned into weeks, Earth began to rebuild. The new shield technology was integrated into every ship in the fleet, and new alliances were forged with other species who had suffered under the Thean raids. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, there was hope.